Hey there, I'm Carno, and Super Mario 3D World. It's, certainly a game I can confirm exists. In case it wasn't obvious by my channel, I'm a pretty big fan of Mario games, but for some reason, I never really got why everyone liked this one so much. I guess I remember it being uninspired and certainly not what you would expect out of a 3D Mario on a home console. But I'm always willing to give games a second chance, so today, join us as I and my fellow YouTuber Grey Cubed take a second look at Super Mario 3D World.
Sounds good to me. Without further ado, let's get started.
Super Mario 3D World. Despite its name, I can definitely assure you that it has no connection to the one you played on the SNES. I actually remember playing this game and thinking it was pretty mediocre. You know, with a name like 3D World, you would expect this game to be pretty open-ended, but nope, it's actually just a sequel to a game that shall not be named. Now, that isn't to say that I thought it was bad, but compared to Mario Galaxy, or even its sequel, it felt like a step backward. Well, anyway, today we're going to be taking a second look at this game to see how it holds up today, and who knows, now that I'm replaying it, maybe I'll come out with a more positive opinion. Like I said before, Super Mario 3D World is pretty different from most of its predecessors. Instead of focusing on large worlds to explore, the game is all about getting from the start of the course to the flagpole. You might have the odd Mystery House or Captain Toad level, more on those later, but for the most part, this is what you'll be doing for about 25 hours. I guess the best place to begin is the story, what there is of it anyway. Basically, the Mario Bros, Peach, and Toad are taking a stroll one night when suddenly a mysterious fairy tells them that Bowser has been kidnapping her friends. Then Bowser himself comes out, grabs the fairy, and escapes back down a pipe. So the trio of characters, plus Toad, head down the pipe to rescue the fairy that they know nothing about. There's not really much else to talk about story-wise. This is as simple a story as you'll probably get next to the usual scenario.
Yeah, and what's more, this game is a lot easier than a lot of its older siblings. Maybe it's just the fact that we're more seasoned gamers, but if I had to guess, it's probably because these are just 2D challenges adapted for a 3D game, you know, not 3D platforming challenges made from the ground up. Plus, all of the levels are really short. It takes less than 10 minutes to hop in, get the collectibles, and move on to the next one. This means that along with the abundance of power-ups, you probably won't need to worry about getting a game over, especially if you grind it for max lives at the beginning of the game. Now, that's not to say this game is a complete cakewalk though. There are a lot of levels in the last couple of worlds that bring out a ton of challenge, and getting the green stars, which is required for full completion by the way, along with the stamps, adds some much desired challenge. The only downside of these collectibles is that while some of them are behind fun side challenges, a lot of them just feel kinda, shoved in at the last minute. I mean, sometimes you've almost completed a level and you realize you missed a green star somewhere, only to find out that the developers just put it on a ledge that's just out of the sight of the camera, and you have to grab a cat suit and climb up some random wall to get it. Or alternatively, and this might just be worse, you might find a random button on the ground that requires a certain character to stomp on it. So if you're not playing as Luigi, you're extremely f***ed over. It's not like this game is riddled with these scenarios, but they happen just often enough to get on your nerves.
For sure, looking back on it, these were probably the reasons why I thought was so ho-hum to begin with. The lack of difficulty, along with the occasional cryptic collectibles, really got annoying after a while. However, I can say that unlike a certain other game, this one has an actual identity. Sure, you have your standard grasslands, desert, snow, other desert, beach, sky, and lava levels, but the final boss really throws you for a loop. You see, it turns out that the lava world isn't the last one, but instead a decoy. The real final boss takes place on an actual world based on a Bowser carnival, where Bowser uses the double cherry and super bell in order to chase you up a skyscraper. You know, for having such a bland story, this is probably one of the most unique boss fights I can think of. And it's not like this is just one level either. You'll encounter hints of the world all throughout your adventure. Throughout the game, there are about half a dozen carnival-themed levels and bosses, and they're actually really fun. Even with a lack of difficulty, the unique theme is a welcome break from the other levels you've come to expect. There's also some mystery houses, which are basically small gauntlets which give you a series of 10-second challenges for a chance to nab a stack of green stars. I really like these. They act as a really entertaining side objective and break up the pace of things quite nicely. Lastly, there's the Captain Toad levels, where you navigate a small puzzle room with one of the best Mario characters known to mankind. You see, the trouble with this guy is he can't jump, so it means that you'll need to find alternative ways to climb up to the top of the map. Again, I really like these, and apparently so did Nintendo because they actually made a whole game out of it. Now, that isn't to say these will have you stuck for an hour or even 15 minutes, but as I said, they're a nice change of pace.
Oh boy, but let's not forget the third type of side mission too, the fairy houses. Basically, you walk into this dope-ass house, right, and there's a stamp floating there. So you're probably thinking, okay, well this is obviously going to be a trap or something. And then you walk up and you grab the stamp, then you walk away? What was the point of that again?
I can't defend you from that one, man. You just walked into your own grave there. Anyway, another welcome aspect of the game is the set of new power-ups. You have your Super Bell, Double Cherry. There really were no other new power-ups, were there?
Well, you have the Goomba mask.
Nah, we're talking power-ups, not useless items.
Oh, well, yeah, there weren't really any others, were there?
Well, it doesn't matter too much because the Super Bell is by far the best power-up in the game. Grabbing it will turn you into Cat Mario. In this state, you can climb up walls, scratch enemies, and pounce, which I find especially fun. These are all great additions to Mario's moveset, and are basically the only reasons why you are inclined to explore the levels. Sure, you might have your cheap collectible here or there, but for the most part, it's really fun to climb up to hidden areas, or pounce across large distances. There's, only one problem. Yeah, that. The Super Bell was basically one of the game's main advertised aspects, and so at the end of every level, all the characters meow like cats. If there was one thing I could change about this game, this would be it. I don't know what it is, but there's something so uncomfortable about a fully grown man in a cat suit while pretending to meow.
Oh, right. We should probably mention the post-game. After you beat the final boss, you get to take a spaceship to Star World, which is basically just Mario Galaxy, the world. It actually includes a direct homage to the game itself. You even get to play as Rosalina after you beat it, although she's basically just a better version of Peach. The next two worlds are pretty mediocre in comparison though. You might find the occasional original level here or there, but 90% of the stages here are just remixed challenges of older ones. I mean, I wouldn't mind a couple remixes here or there, but this is just insane, especially for the late post-game. But after making it through that, you meet the final barrier. To clear it, you must collect every collectible in the game, plus reach the top of the flagpole in every level. Doing this will unlock Champion's Road, the final challenge that recent games have been sure to include, and it's certainly the most difficult level in the game. So after making it through that, what's your reward? Well, you get an extra stamp and a message saying thank you from the developers, and then they tell you to complete the game with every other character to 100% it. Yeah, good luck convincing me to do that.
Overall, Super Mario Furry Simulator Super Mario 3D World is in a pretty weird position. On one hand, this is a really fun Super Mario game. In fact, in terms of originality, it beats almost all of the 2D predecessors. On the other hand though, when I think of 3D Mario, I think about great adventures like Super Mario Odyssey, Galaxy, and 64. Compared to the rest, this game sticks out like a sore thumb. Its main issue is that it was being marketed as something it wasn't, and as a result, a lot of people, including us, wrote it off as a mediocre sequel with a slapped-on multiplayer. But that's just not the truth. This game is filled with personality and innovative ideas. Like, hear me out for a second. Everybody hates this, right? Well, what if it had been this instead? Suddenly, the new Super Mario Bros. Series could be a lot more respected, couldn't it?
Yeah, and if you think about it, the identity crisis goes much deeper than the marketing. If you look at the camera and the lighting in places with wider open landscapes, like sprawling savanna, you can see that it really wasn't built for open world scenarios, you know, with the pop-in and the lighting issues. Mario 3D World shines at its best when it's being creative yet focused, like the final Bowser fight for instance. For what it's worth, I don't think too many people would mind seeing a sequel to this game, as long as it's marketed correctly. Sure, there are a few problems it could fix as well, but I think at the end of the day, this game is still pretty quality. If you have a Wii U and you haven't picked this game up, we encourage you to do so because there's no other games left on the Wii U that you can't play on the Switch. No!
Hey guys, thanks for watching and making it all the way to the end of the video. If you like what you saw, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video out with anyone who might find it interesting. Also, check out GregCube's channel. He makes great content and you won't be disappointed. Probably.
I heard that!
Anyway, there's nothing else to say at this point except thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.